Welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna have a little bit of fun. I've got a cookout to go to, and I kind of want to roll in together like a get ready with me with my favorite products from the month of July. So without further ado, let's jump right into the video. So to start off, I am going to prep my lips. For my lips, I have been loving this Fenty Pro Kisser Luscious Lip Balm in the shade Latte Lips. This just has such a beautiful kind of like silky texture, and I am absolutely in love with it. Another lip balm product I have been loving, I don't have it with me, I left it downstairs at my computer desk, but the Huda Beauty Silk Balm is also phenomenal. I absolutely love that product. So that was the Fenty Pro Kisser Luscious Lip Balm in the shade Latte Lips. So for my face, I have already applied 2 layers of the Verdio SPF 50, let that dry down completely. And since I'm gonna be outside today in the humidity, I need to take a few extra steps to make my makeup last. So one of my other products that I've been loving, absolutely loving, pretty much since I started my channel, is the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Airbrush Setting Spray. I'm just applying this now onto just my sunscreened face, so that way it's gonna kind of help create another barrier between my skin and the makeup. And I'm gonna go ahead and apply my primer. I am still working on that mini sample size of the Tatcha Liquid Silk Canvas. So I am just going to spread that on. This is another product that I've just really been enjoying because it creates a very kind of smooth, silky filling canvas. Does a little bit for pore smoothing, but I find it just also makes my makeup last longer and look better throughout the day. So thin layer of that. And then like in my other get ready when I was getting ready for that birthday party, I used another longtime favorite. This has been one of my favorites for years. This is the IT Cosmetics by Pores Loose Powder. So before foundation or anything, I'm just gonna take a little bit, swirl in the KVD number 20 Locket Powder Brush. And with this, you just need a tiny amount of powder, and you are going to primarily concentrate it in the areas where you get the most oily. And then whatever's left, I like to take it to the other parts of my face. I love this powder for this particular technique, but also I like it as a setting powder because it does set your makeup down really well, and it gives you a nice kind of pore smoothing kind of finish, hence the name by Pores. There's also a pressed version. I just prefer the loose a little bit more. While my face kind of sets down, I'm gonna move on to my eyes. I'm gonna use the Hourglass Veil Eyeshadow Primer. This is just another product that I've got a handful of eyeshadow primers in my collection, but there's something about this one that I just really love. So I take a pea-sized amount, spread it between my fingers, and then just run it on my eyelid from lash line up to brow, and I like to put it right in the inner corner so that way any concealer I apply later will stick a little bit better. And that's a great trick you can do with any eyeshadow primer, is apply a little bit towards the inner corners or outer corners of your eye before you apply your concealer. Give it a few moments to kind of set up, and it will just help cling onto your concealers a little bit better. And this KVD Locket Powder Brush, it is a nice brush. I enjoy it. This is the older version, so I did manage to get this one when it was, I guess they were going through their rebranding and they were changing it from Kat Von D to KVD Vegan Beauty. So I got this on clearance. From what I've seen in store with the new ones, I can't tell a difference, so I enjoy this one. So today I'm gonna keep my eye look pretty simple, and I'm using a palette that I really love. I was really hesitant when I first purchased this because it said it was limited edition. However, I can still find it on Sephora, Nordstrom, Holt Renfrew, Beautylish, as well as the Charlotte Tilbury website. And this is the Hollywood Flawless Eye Filter Luxury Palette in the shade Star Aura. And I just love it because it has these really kind of beautiful neutral with a little bit of a pink kind of everyday eyeshadow palette that you can build it up to be nice and smoky, or you can do like I'm gonna do today and keep it really lightweight. So to start off, I'm gonna take my Hourglass number 3 brush, and this is just a nice kind of flat shading brush, and I'm going to use this kind of mid-tone shade, and I'm just gonna apply it from lash to just above my socket line. And you can see it's a really nice, subtle color. It gives the eyelids just a little bit of something. If you're someone like me who really enjoys that kind of no makeup look, but you just want to put something on to feel your best, this is a great palette. I wanted to do a get ready today because today's look is really kind of like a confidence boosting, feel good look. You know, here in Toronto, things are opening up, we're able to gather again, and life is slowly going back to normal after last year. However, my social anxiety is going through the roof. Like, before everything happened last year, I already had pretty intense social anxiety, but now it's like through the roof. So I want to use makeup to make me look like I feel my best when maybe I don't feel that great. So I'm gonna blend that out using the Referent number 15. This is just a really large kind of crease blending brush. I'm gonna take that right on the edge and just really kind of blow it out. Now with this one, no rhyme and reason, just kind of blending it out. And this is gonna give the eyes a slightly larger appearance. I don't know, do any of you ever go through that? Do you ever feel like sometimes makeup is a great way for you just to kind of look like you're 100% when maybe you're like not quite 100%? For me, it is, and that's one thing I love about makeup. You can really kind of use makeup to enhance how you look and put on like a more confident face when you're not feeling your most confident. So once again, I'm gonna go in with that more pinky shade, same hourglass brush, and I'm gonna focus this just on the lid, so keeping it a little bit lower down than that first shade we applied. And I'm just gonna really focus this color in the center of my eyelid and then spread to the corners. This is just such a beautiful palette. Sometimes with some of the formulas, like I love Charlotte's eyeshadow palettes, but sometimes her pop shades, for me, can really emphasize texture that I don't otherwise see on my eyes. And these don't. This formula that came in the Hollywood Flawless Eye Filter palette, it's just a really beautiful formula. And I'm gonna stick with that same hourglass brush and go into the pale gold color. And I'm just going to apply this to the inner corner of my eye, there. And now we're just gonna go back in with that Referent number 15 and blend it all out. And right now, this looks a little bit more stark than how it's going to look when we finish the look. Eyes are on before anything else, so it's just going to temporarily look a little bit more intense than it is at the end, just because it's the only thing we've got on. So for foundation, I'm gonna be using the YSL All Hours foundation in the shade BR20. This is a foundation I mentioned in my first Get Ready With Me I did a few weeks ago. I reviewed this foundation towards the beginning of my channel. So this is definitely more of like a special occasion foundation for me because it does give a fair amount of coverage. But what I really, really love about this foundation is how well it lasts. Like, the name is All Hours for a reason because it hangs on for hours. And I'm using the BK Beauty 101 Contoured Foundation Brush. This is such a wonderful foundation brush. This might be coming from my previous favorite foundation brush, which was the IT Cosmetics Heavenly Luxe number 7 brush. I still love that brush. I have it to use today as like a buffing finishing brush. But this brush just makes applying foundation so easy. And I'm not taking this under my eyes because I am going to be going with a concealer. And whatever's left on the back of my hands, I'm just going to pick it up with my brush, a little bit on my ears and on my neck, just so things look a little bit more balanced. And then I'm going to now go in with the IT Cosmetics Heavenly Luxe number 7 brush. And this is completely clean. I am just going to kind of blend over the top of the foundation. And this is going to remove anything that's just sitting on top of the skin. And you'll see that is just excess foundation coming off on the brush. And this is just a great step because when you remove this extra foundation from sitting on top of the skin, or it's gonna leave less product to potentially crease throughout the day. And if you're going to an occasion and you wanna look your best and feel your best, you don't wanna worry about your foundation kind of settling and collecting in the lower portions of the face. To blend a little bit more, I'm gonna now go in with a beauty sponge. I've dampened this. I used this earlier to apply a little bit of the Fenty body sauce on my legs because I think I'm gonna wear shorts. I think. Still a big maybe. And going over with the beauty sponge, after you've done that extra kind of like little blend, you are just now pressing the foundation that's on the skin really into the skin, making it look more like your skin. This month, I have been loving an oldie but a goodie concealer. This is the Lancome's Effervescence Concealer, and I still think this is in light buff. Not entirely sure, but I like the color. It's a beautiful color. I'm gonna use the smaller size, that IT Cosmetics brush. I'm gonna pick up a little bit down the outside corner, a little bit on this inner corner, kind of press over. And I like to do this just because the foundation that's on this brush is going to help marry the concealer and the foundation together, so it just looks more perfected but more natural. And now I'm gonna use the point of my beauty sponge just to give that a little press over, and that's that. Foundation, concealer are finished. So I know I'm gonna be getting shiny later, so I'm gonna go in with another powder that I absolutely love. I've loved this for years. This is my second one I've been through, but I really only use this Fenty Invisimatte blotting powder in the warmer months, because during the winter and when it's cooler, I don't really need it. But if I'm gonna be out during the summer, this is a phenomenal one because it just really keeps any unwanted shine in check. And then I'm just gonna take a little bit on the sides of my face because I am gonna go through with powder, blush, bronzer, and highlight. And I just want everything to lay nicely. So Fenty Invisimatte powder is another product I've been loving this month for going out and keeping my excess shine in check. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and highlight now, and this is a newer purchase. So I talked about this in my video that went up before last. So my last Get Ready With Me when I was getting ready for a Facebook Live. But this is the new Dior Couture Luminizer in the shade 02 Pink Glow. I am obsessed. Today I am not gonna use as much as I did in that video, and I'm gonna use the Refer number 20 fan brush. This is just a really nice fan brush. I'm not generally a huge fan of fan brushes, but this fan brush, it just has a little bit, you can see it's slightly thicker, it's got a little bit more density, but it's really, really soft. And it just applies the perfect amount of product. And I've used this for blush, but I really love it for highlight. And you can see that Dior highlight is just stunning on the skin. So Dior Pure Couture Luminizer in 02 Pink Glow is a favorite. I randomly saw this on the Sephora website, and when I looked on YouTube, I couldn't find any real reviews. But this is the newer Terracotta, the bronzing powder, and I have the shade 00 Light Cool. Looks like that. So it has more of like a pinky peachiness, which I felt like it would be really nice for my skin tone, because like when I tan, I don't turn super golden. So when I first used this, I was very happy, and I received this towards the beginning of the month. So I've had a month to play with it, and that paired with this Refer number 22 bronzer brush is phenomenal. This either retails for 110 or 120 American dollars. I got this when it was in the concept store, and it was around 60 US dollars, so almost half price, which is a phenomenal, phenomenal deal. So I'm so happy I have this. This is definitely become my favorite bronzer brush that I have in my collection. And you can see this color is just such a beautiful kind of natural rosy bronzer that is not, it's cool, but it's not cool enough to look like a contour, because sometimes some bronzers pull too cool and then they look more like a contour powder than a bronzer. And if you've seen some of my other videos, like my how to contour and then my how to bronze, I like to keep those very, very separate. So a little bit on my neck and just a pinch on my ears. And for good measure, I'm gonna put a little bit more kind of right through here. And a trick I like to do when I want everything to look really smooth, I'm gonna take my powder brush with no additional product, and I'm just going to lightly run over that bronzer we just applied. That's going to tone everything down a little bit, but it's also gonna help kind of kick off and brush off any of that excess product I say on top. So you can see now, we are definitely getting shape. We are getting dimension. The eyes are looking less stark, but everything is still looking like me, which is what I'm going for. So that is the newer Guerlain The Bronzing Powder in 00 Light Cool. I absolutely love this. When I was trying to decide which blush to go for, I couldn't really decide. I knew I wanted to use the Dior highlight and then the Guerlain bronzer, because those have been my favorites through the month. And I'm like, what blush have I reached for? Because my blush collection is a behemoth. It is the when it comes time to declutter, that is gonna be the hardest one, because I love blush, but of all the blushes I reach for the most this month, as well as pretty much since I got it at the end of last year, is the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Blush, and this is the shade Sublime Flush. I'm gonna be using it with the Rephr number 24. This is Rephr's cheek brush, and I've not tried it with this blush formula yet. So let's see how it does. Okay. So with this brush, this is a denser blush brush. I like it. I really, really enjoy it, because most of my blush brushes I have are quite fluffy, because I generally like a really light blush application, and then I like to build it up at certain points. But a brush, you can see that just gives the most beautiful kind of luminosity to the skin. But something like this, especially with these Hourglass Ambient Lighting blushes, they really kind of help pull out that little bit of pearl that is in this formula. And I'm gonna go a little bit heavier with the blush than normal, because I am going to take another step and I'm going to buff at the end of my makeup routine. And that's just going to make everything look a little bit smoother and kind of like a little sweeping shape from the outer corner into the temple. And that's just gonna help connect the blush color into the eyeshadow. That way everything's looking very connected. So that is the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Blush in the shade Sublime Flush. And now I like to take my damp beauty sponge and just give my skin a light press over, and a little bit of moisture that is in the sponge is just going to help everything kind of look more like it is part of my skin, which is, you know, something I love. I'm gonna take a little bit of my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray, and I'm gonna give my skin a mist. Normally you don't need that much, but I like a nice generous coat because I need this to last for a good long time. So while I'm letting this sit down, I'm gonna take my La Roche-Posay sunscreen, give it another shake, and we're gonna apply one more layer. For brows, it's very simple. I just kind of like a combination of two products. So this is the Merit Volumizing Pomade. I have the shade Blonde. Go against the brow hair, and then brush it where you want it to go. I buy so many lip pencils in the hunt for the perfect shade, and I always go back to the same two. So this month, the one I've been going to the most is my MAC lip pencil in the shade Dervish. I love these so much, and I started off with one, and in the last month, I've added 3 more shades to my collection. So these are the Bobbi Brown Crushed Oil Infused Lip Glosses, and the very first one I purchased was Force of Nature, which is just like a beautiful kind of brownie pink. I absolutely love this color. In the Nordstrom anniversary sale, there was a duo that came with a full-sized crushed oil-infused gloss and one of the crushed lipsticks, and that one had Assassin Nude and then the oil-infused gloss in the shade Free Spirit. I believe it was this past Monday. It was National Lipstick Day, and Sephora had a few of their glosses on sale for the day, and I lucked out because the Bobbi Brown crushed oil-infused gloss was in here, so I got 2 more shades. So I got the shade New Romantic, which is kind of slightly like neutral cool pink, and then the shade In the Buff, which is more of like a corally kind of nude shade. I think I'm gonna end up going for this one. So this is New Romantic. So one of the newer shades I picked up. And also, like I always, just like if I'm gonna apply a gloss, I apply it to my lower lip and I call it a day. I love this formula. It is just so slick. It does have like an oil slipness, or it does have like a slippy oil texture, but it doesn't feel greasy. It doesn't feel heavy. It is just the perfect gloss formula. For lashes, I'm gonna use my Chanel Indomitable Intense in brown, and I'm just gonna apply a thin coat to my upper lashes only. Now to finish off our look, all we're gonna do is we are gonna buff. I'm gonna use the Charlotte Tilbury Charlotte's Magic Powder. I have the shade One Fair. I take quite a generous amount. I'm gonna go back to that KVD brush, pick up some, tap it off, and I'm gonna start by stamping it over my face and my eyes. If you use the right powder, this will look perfect on the skin. So I'm gonna take even more powder. Now I'm gonna swirl my brush in. I like to swirl clockwise and counterclockwise. Go through it, tap it off, and then just start buffing. So once again, this is going to add just another whisper thin layer of powder. This is going to help kind of tone down the powder products we applied to the skin. And it's to make everything just look a little bit more polished and put together. And it's gonna help things last a little bit better. When I look at my skin, I see, it's makeup. You are gonna see a level of makeup on the skin. However, most makeup, especially if you see more of a powdery texture, when you apply a setting spray, you give your skin about 30 minutes to an hour, your natural oils come through, it kind of helps everything melt into the skin, look more like your skin. So to finish off my look, I'm gonna use my favorite fragrance of the month, and this is such a classic. I fell in love with this when I worked at Estee Lauder, and this is the Estee Lauder Sensuous Nude. It's just a nice kind of summery scent. And 1, 2, that is going to wrap up today's video. I hope you enjoyed seeing the products that I've been loving throughout the month. Hopefully this video also gave you some great makeup tips that you can work into your everyday routine, or you can use it to maybe when you just want to look like you're feeling 100%, but maybe you're not. So anyway, I hope this was fun. If you enjoyed it, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you all later. Bye.